The article I will be discussing today is The International Efficiency of American Education: The Bad and the Not So Bad News by Stephen P. Heyneman. Heyneman's paper explores the idea that not only do American schools underperform in comparison to many other countries, but that they do so while using more resources. He suggests that this is true due to the difference in the demand to learn between American students and students from other countries. Heyneman asserts that his paper also suggests that American schools are not less efficient and that they are more efficient than the Republic of Korea, one of the world's leading school systems. Heyneman wants us to look at statistics regarding test scores and efficiency from a different point of view. As he points out in several instances in his paper, the numbers do not provide us with all of the information necessary to arrive at an appropriate conclusion. This is important to keep in mind as we institute policies that attempt to improve the quality of education. If we implement policy based solely on test scores and we don't have any background information, the policy might be ineffective and inefficient. Heyneman points out that there are many ways to calculate efficiency in terms of how much spending yields academic success. The method you choose and how you interpret the results greatly impacts the ranking of countries in terms of efficiency. How countries perform on academic international tests appears to be reflective of how much a student is motivated to learn. Heyneman attributes differences in demand to learn to culture. He suggests that better teacher training, different curriculum, or longer school days will not lead to academic improvement if schools have a low demand to learn. He dismisses the impact of poverty and race. One very positive finding of Heyneman's paper was that the United States ranked 6th in civics education. Success in civics is often an indication of a strong economy. He speculates that the U.S. economy still performs well despite lower rankings in reading literacy, math, and science literacy because of the high quality of civics education students receive. When test scores are broken down state by state, some U.S. states have scores that rank near the top countries. Test scores vary greatly from state to state. However, these patterns are similar to other large countries like Brazil that have diverse populations and face issues similar to those of the United States. Heyneman draws our attention to an important issue in making comparisons. Many people are quick to compare our test scores with those of high-achieving Asian countries. What the numbers don't reveal is that those scores do not provide an accurate reflection of public education in Asia. Many people in those countries are so dissatisfied with their public schools that they pay for private tutors and send their children to cram schools. Therefore, the high test scores of Asian countries are highly impacted by private education. It is not a true comparison of public school systems. Scores of high-performing Asian countries need to be regarded carefully when determining how we compare to them. According to multiple studies, depression, suicide, bullying, and personality disorder are problems attributed to the 80 to 100 hours a week that Asian students face. Studies have also found that Asian students who received hours of additional tutoring have lower confidence, dislike academics, lack motivation, have higher levels of stress, lack goals, are less creative, less independent, and lack in critical thinking and analytical skills. These students take tests that tell them where they can attend college and tell them what they must study based on the test scores. Overall satisfaction is significantly less due to their choice regarding area of study. While we are busy envying the high scores of Asian students, they are envious of our students as well. Many Asians look to the United States for what they consider a balanced way to raise children. Heyneman also suggests that American students possess more autonomy and independence than Asian students. Some schools in the United States perform quite well compared to high-ranking Asian countries, and they do so by investing far less time studying. Perhaps this is the kind of efficiency we need to focus on. Many people are unaware of the 80 to 100 hours a week Asian students devote to education and the detrimental effects it can have. Before we conclude that Asian public schools are so much better than ours, we need to have the full picture. Much like Stewart's book, Heyneman examined and compared PISA test scores. While Stewart seems to place a strong emphasis on the specific scores and rankings, Heyneman interprets them in terms of efficiency from various points of view. Stewart's approach is more alarmist versus Heyneman, who tries to explain possible positive scenarios and ways of looking at the situation. In doing so, Heyneman points out important factors Stewart did not. Heyneman includes the emotional and physical toll Asian students feel and discusses how comparing Asian and American schools based on test scores is not accurate because of Asian cram schools' influence. In addition, he makes sure to point out what American public schools have that make many Asian students envious. Rather than try to alarm us using rankings and statistics, Heyneman tries to explain what is behind the statistics. The information he provides causes us to stop and think about how much importance we should be placing in the numbers. We are so used to thinking that the higher the rank, the better, that anything else is seen as a failure. Heyneman uses various ways of examining and exploring the data to remind us the numbers don't provide the full picture. He strives to show us there are trade-offs for being at the top, some of them quite detrimental. Heyneman devoted much of his paper to Asian countries. It left me wanting to know more about countries like Finland, Norway, and Russia. I suspect that those countries would also have trade-offs. What is very clear from Heyneman's paper is that we must carefully examine education from multiple perspectives before implementing new policy to mirror other countries. It's flattering to be number one, but is it worth the price? Maybe being in the middle of the pack is even better than being number one. Resources used for this presentation include the article by Heyneman and the text by Stewart.